What is being alone? Is it being an introvert or someone that just likes their alone time? I I don't think that's being alone. With screens constantly going and always having something playing in the background while you're cleaning your room or doing your schoolwork. Are we ever really alone? We willingly record the mundanity of our lives and put it online for everyone to see. Are we capable of being alone in a culture like this? Do we ever sit in utter silence and just enjoy it? Can we, as a culture that is so full of people and the art of communication and buying time and using it as a commodity, can we ever be alone anymore? In a world where we can never really be alone, where we're always filming ourselves and broadcasting it and allowing everyone to see the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves, why is everyone so fucking lonely? No one has friends anymore. Everyone sits inside and only communicates with people through their phones or computers. How have we, as a culture, eliminated the ability to be alone, but have amplified everyone's ability to feel loneliness? Everyone is constantly trying to fill the void instead of making genuine friends that will last. We are a culture of addiction. We use screens, drugs, alcohol, anything to drown out the innate silence of having nothing and no one around you. We don't have a party culture as much anymore due to the innate exhaustion of life. People study and work for hours and hours on end, and by the time they're finished, they don't want much else but sleep and relief. And when they try to get that, all they can do is dread having to do it the next day all over again. Less people are getting married, less people are having children, less people are making friends as our world devolves into an apocalyptic state where the world could literally die due to the temperature rising and corporations not caring enough about anything other than profits to do anything about it. Meanwhile, putting the responsibility on the everyday consumer to lessen their carbon footprint and lessen their impact. The gender war has pitted men and women against each other, making them think that either one is evil. Meanwhile, the far right has made us think that anything in between is just made up and psychotic. People with identities other than the traditional male or female are deemed as crazy and they don't really exist. It's just a mental condition. People don't see it as worth pursuing to try and communicate with people on a deeper level anymore, other than debates and arguments. We are now a people that only speak one language, anger, and that anger has made us more communicative than ever before, but also more innately lonely than we could ever imagine. We preach about the importance of mental health while ignoring the root cause of most of these mental issues, the intense stress of work and the intense pressure to constantly get higher and higher degrees in school that cost more and more money that people are losing access to due to wages not rising and prices rising instead. People are pushed to work and work and work incessantly just to survive, and we wonder why we are experiencing higher rates of depression and anxiety and mental illness in general more than ever before. We say go to therapy without realizing how expensive it is and how few healthcare plans will cover it. We prescribe medication without realizing or intentionally realizing how addictive it is. We tell people to get out there and socialize more without realizing how hostile the world has truly become. People have gotten so desperate to be seen, to be liked, that they're willing to do anything, sell any bit of dignity they have, just to be loved, to be recognized, to be stars. So we sell our souls to content machines and let ourselves be perceived by the entire world without being understood by anyone. We tell ourselves that this is fine and at least we're loved and adored by the people that watch us. And instead of addressing the fact that we really have no social lives today, we continue filling the void with whatever our vice in particular is. And we do this day after day after day, year after year, as the internet has gotten larger and more influential, and we watch people get more and more money and attention from it, and it becomes even more aspirational. And we ignore the darker parts, the parts that make us feel so alone and so isolated. And now we're here in a landscape where we have access to more information than at any point ever in the world, where we could communicate with people across the globe in an instant. And yet we all hate each other more than ever before, and we are all more lonely than ever before. Constantly spewing hate into the void, just like everyone else. It's fine. Don't worry. Just keep filling the void. Everything will be okay. Ignore, ignore, ignore until you can't possibly anymore and you've completely broken down. And at that point, you're discarded. And instead of being treated like a very real statistic, you're treated like an exception to the rule, like you are broken, and like no one else would suffer this fate if only they'd been a little stronger than you.